Should we split the G quickly? Let's begin it with that.
God.
3, 2, 1. 0% by the way. Oh my God, I've done it. I've nailed it.
I don't know why I'm not shocked. That's horrendous. Look at how bad that... Actually, it's not that bad.
Alcoholism, everyone.
Yeah. This is a kid that's doing 75 hard, by the way.
Yeah.
75 hard, and he still can't help himself but to split the G.
0%. Yeah.
Right, let's do it.
That's a bit of buzz that I just got there. That's incredible. Haven't felt that in a long time.
That's actually pretty bang on, isn't it? To be
fair?
You can't actually get much better, to be fair.
Nailed that. Oh my God.
Like mine, I thought I'd overdone it at one point. I was like, I think the first it was a bit big.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. Got to give credit where it's due.
The kid still got it, even when he's sober.
Hello and welcome to Talk Seagulls. I'm back at the Caxton Arms again, and yeah, it's been a bit of a... Why am I so happy? I don't know why I'm so buzzing. I shouldn't be.
Because I'm here.
Ben's here.
Sorry. Was that panned on you first? And then
no,
I
it's
was
gone straight to you, my friend.
Okay.
I was going to say, it's been a long time since I've seen Ben. I don't think I've even seen you in I don't even know how long.
Yeah,
I spoke to you in I don't know how long. But Ben, how are you, mate?
We are back. We're so back. I've been good, man. Yeah. Sober at the moment, which is great. I say sober as if I've had an alcohol problem, which some people might say I have. You normally
you just split the G on a 0.
Yeah, nothing changes there.
Yeah.
Still the same guy in that respect. But yeah, doing this like 75 hard challenge at the moment. Anyone that knows me, I've been probably talking about it far too much and bored of it now. But do you want to know what it is, 75 hard?
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Really?
No, I have.
Oh, okay,
but I'll just try to do the NBA reference.
Okay, cool. You've never heard of it? Wow. There's your pod title. Ryan's never heard of 75 hard. So you've got to do an outdoor workout, indoor workout, drink a gallon of water, read 10 pages of non-fiction, and stick to some sort of diet every single day for 75 days.
And how do you find it? Is it difficult?
It's kind of difficult, like, juggling work and that as well, but do the indoor workout before work, go for a run at lunch sometimes at work with some people like that, and you can do it. Yeah, it does seem really hard, but just got to kind of massage your life around it.
I think once you've done it for like a week,
although my body's after 12 days, my body after 12 days was just shot because like every day you're training a different body part, like legs or chest, and then by the time you're doing chest again, your chest is still sore because you're mad. But surviving, thriving. This is day 31, I think.
Day 31, not the accounting.
Yeah, not counting at all.
No. You nearly forgot.
Nearly did. Yeah. No, again,
it's that
I can't stress enough. 0%.
0%. It is 0%. I watched him do it.
But how you been? Good. You been
good? I'm good. Well, I'll say that. 7-0.
Yeah.
7-0. Right. And I saw someone say, at least you've not lost your head. Right. I'm not being funny. We're in a really tough situation as a club. I don't think anyone could have predicted 7-0 to keep, a really balanced argument.
What did you predict?
I said 3.
I said a draw. I said a draw. I said
did
2
you?
I said 2
I thought Forest were very well rounded. They've got a great counter attack. They're very good defensively. Nuno is probably one of the best counter attacking managers out there at the moment. Against a team that cannot do anything once we've conceded a first goal, I would have been shocked if we got anything if we conceded early, which we did. And then when you concede another one, you're thinking, oh my God. And the fact that it kept happening in the same sort of vein, I thought
it wasn't mad early though. It wasn't as early as maybe
it was
most
10,
7-0s would
15th
be.
Minute, something like that.
Oh, was it? I'm thinking 20 for some reason.
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know.
Maybe that's when the second one went in. But
I
thought we started well, and I was like, oh my God, the 2-2 draw could happen.
Yeah, we started all right. I think first 5-10 minutes, you didn't think too much of it. I was like, okay, we started okay, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation at the moment. I mean, there's obviously at the time of recording this, it's deadline day. The squad wise, so it looks like we're getting rid of a lot of academy kids. I just want to say.
There's one that's particularly baffling, which is McConville to Norwich on a permanent.
Yeah.
For 1.5
a couple
mil.
others as well. I mean, Baker Boaty's gone. I think Caleb Vickers, to be fair, that one's a bit more of a loan. You can expect it. But
I think, people call them Triple B, don't they? I know it's cringy, but I think Triple B was expected. But McConville, it's not like we're stacked in centre-backs at the moment. I know we brought in this fella from Derby, a League One centre-back, to come in the Premier League and hope it changes everything, but God knows. I guess that's a pretty disrespectful way to put it, saying he's a League One centre-back, because we've been chasing him for over a year now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like you're signing a ready-made Premier League centre-back.
If you've only got Tamori again, for example, you remember the early rumours?
Yeah.
Then that would have been a bit like, okay, we can live with maybe losing McConville. But as you say, Cashin's, I hope he's really good. He's only 23, which is kind of mad that he's played so many games.
He looks like 30.
Yeah, he does, genuinely. But
he's definitely been on these.
Yeah.
And not the zeros.
The fact he's played so many games for Derby's come out. I think he's got 150 games or something for them. Come up through since he's another under 8s or under 10s or something like that, which is kind of mad. But then we've got him now. You know, is he ready to exactly go and start in the Prem? I was speaking to a Derby fan about him, and they said maybe not.
Terrific.
But then, you know, he could be, but he might not be. You know, we're like, sometimes we like to just throw players in a little bit early and see how they cope with it. There's a couple other things as well. I've seen that Facundo wants to come back, but I think we want to put him on another
We want you back as well, buddy.
I'm not just going to go over and analyse the entire game back to front, because there's plenty of other little talking points. But my biggest, probably controversial opinion between us and Forest, right, is what my frustration is over the entire situation, and why probably I've been quite upset with Fabian Hürzeler's tactics, right?
Yeah.
I think we've got a better squad than Forest, right? And I think player for player, apart from like Gibbs White, I think I'd have Gibbs White here. I think I'd have Alanga here.
Mate, imagine Gibbs White.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But back to front, I think their squad's great, but I think ours is fantastic. Maybe I'd have Murillo, say.
But then their 11 is just, and the way they tick together.
That's it.
They're so much more fluid because they play with each other every single week. And our players don't. You'll have Baleba and Oyari playing together, and then some mystery, they're gone. Oyari's taking pictures on Beachy Head for some reason. Instead of playing against Forest when we need him most. It's very strange. So we're never getting that familiarity within the team because he changes it so much. Yeah. And obviously done a mental change against Forest.
And tactically, it's just, you know, we're not getting the best out of these players like we were. I think, and I will stand on what I said. I still don't think, I think at the moment we're just not ready. I don't think Fabian's ready. I don't think that it's necessarily a complete shock that I'm, you know, not feeling quite comfortable with it. And I
probably
think you can't.
A shock to people listening because you flagged to me quite a while ago that you weren't really too keen on him, but that wasn't public knowledge. What was the reaction like? Because I'm sure
I don't know. I don't read my
anyway.
comments too much because it's just crazy. But I think probably people didn't agree with me. But at the end of the day, right? I think when you look at where we were last season, and I said it at the time, if you're going to get rid of Zerbi, right, it has to be a massive, massive, massive figure to come in and really take that job on. Because I remember Zerbi emphasising it so much on how much it matters to have proper backroom and, you know, everybody to be completely into the club, completely, right? And everyone has to be pulling their weight everywhere. Good, proper people right around everywhere. And I think the difference is Zerbi, he made that expectation go so high because he was the one going to Bloom saying, we can do more. We can do more. We can do more. We can get to Europe. And I think, honestly, we would have been competing on that side this season based on the amount of signings we brought in. It's just a shame how it had to break down like that. Whatever it did, and you get in the new manager.
So you're saying you think if Zerbi had this squad, do you think this season would have been a good refresh? Because obviously I think a lot of people forget that the end of Zerbi's reign was pretty poor, which is why he kind of ended up leaving, and obviously the transfer issues he had with Tony. But part of me is like, imagine what Zerbi would do with this team right now. And if he had that summer reset where he goes, right, we're going to throw some money, we're going to get some players in, this is your new squad for the season, would we be in a better place now?
I think the system would have been more like a ready oiled machine to just come in. So I don't think it would have been the case of so much transition.
Yeah.
And I think when you lose so much transition, not just with the coaching staff and the manager, who are so influential in their own rights, but also you lose Pascal, you lose Lallana.
Yeah, Pascal,
massive figures in the squad.
Insane one.
And you then go through this big period. And actually, I remember saying in the summer, Pascal, if he could have just stayed that 1 year, even though it was never going to happen, because when you get Dortmund, you know, it's his boyhood club, whatever.
We owed it to him to let him go.
Yeah. But from our point of view, we actually couldn't afford to lose him because of how much he would have mattered for us. And I think...
because Hürzeler at the beginning was like, I really want him to stay, I need him to stay. He would have been pinnacle to this team.
And I think that, Hürzeler in that respect has been dealt a really, really hard time. I, for the record, really hope Hürzeler becomes a top manager because he's so young, right?
At Brighton, obviously.
He's so young and he's not... I don't think he just should have taken it. It's not his job yet. Maybe it was his job in 5 years... right, and I'd have loved it if it was, because he could have come in, had that experience, got himself to, he just got promoted to the Bundesliga, see how you cope in the top division in Germany, you know, finish your job in St. Pauli. I think when you then give someone the job that's that premature, and probably even in his own admission, he said he was only doing sort of like a internship at the club last season, wasn't he? And he was here appearing at games. You know, don't get me wrong, great, but to then put an intern into the main man the next season, it's not even a year later, you know, it's a big jump. And I don't think that it's unreasonable to suggest it's a little bit too early for him. And as I said, I still hope he does well. But, we've got a lot of turning around to do. And unfortunately, you have to be harsh because this is the probably best squad we've ever had. And I still stand by it. I know people say it's not. I still think it is. I think that people forget how good this squad is.
It has to be after the money we spent this summer.
And if you're not getting the best out of that team, and you're going to sacrifice a season of it, which it looks like based on the transfer window today, we might be. How many of them players are going to leave in summer? And then where'd you go?
Do you think the players are backing him? Because one thing I did want to speak about the game was obviously at full time, he's nowhere to be seen. About 80% of the players were there clapping. Mitoma's leading the line, but he's nowhere to be seen. Like, if you're a footballer, I know Adam made this point on Seagull Social, if you're a footballer like Danny Welbeck, you're there on your own, taking the brunt of it. It's almost if it's your fault and not Fabian's, which it is, in my opinion. He's not there. So it's almost like Fabian's going, you go take the blame. I'm waiting for you in the changing room to give you an absolute bollocking or whatever he said. As a player, that must be really disheartening to then go back and just face that on your own without your manager taking any of the stick. Yeah. So is part of you thinking that maybe the players are kind of not clicking or gelling with the manager, you reckon?
I think, there's definitely...
Especially the seniors as well, surely.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of discontent. You see JP was arguing a lot during the game, and I think JP deserves the biggest shout out of everyone because he was fantastic after the game. He had a honker of a game, but his mentality throughout the game was good to see. He was angry, he wasn't happy, he was shouting at Bar, he was shouting at Dunk, he was shouting at everybody. You could see he was the first person to come over to the fans, hold his hands up. Yeah,
apparently him and Joel told everyone to give their shirts away and things like that,
Yeah, and like if you've got someone like that, you like to see it, and that's good. But I think it's clear that something's not working. I remember when it was when we had just got Chris Shooting in, and I think it was like Leon Best and all that when they were arguing with the players. And do you remember that arguments? And I think it was always Greer would get involved, and I remember them arguments with the squad, and you think, okay, right, we've got too many lone players. I remember that conversation, and Sammy Hippie has killed this team, and everyone's unhappy, right? I'm not saying we're completely in that scenario.
Man. That's crazy, isn't it?
But you see signs of that sort of similar thing. Players are players at the end of the day, and they know when it's not going right. And I think you could definitely see you don't ship 7 goals without there being something dramatically wrong. And it doesn't matter whether people want to say, oh, but we could have been 3-3 up at the 3-3, at half time. And I'm thinking, if you're going to be really, really, really mindlessly optimistic about that first half, then maybe we could have been 3-3. But let's be honest with each other and say, look, we were 3-0 down. If the goals were so easy to come by.
It's a lot of nothing really went in our benefit, or nothing really went for us. Like, was it the second goal? Mitoma's getting his contact lens put back in on the edge of the pitch. So then Forest are like, right, let's go to the right side of Brighton's attack because Mitoma's not there. Lamptey's been dragged out, God knows where. Let's just penetrate that, and they did, and they score straight from it. But things like that, little things like that added up. Like, that goal doesn't go in. Maybe there's a chance that we can set up shop. He brings on 2 midfielders finally in the second half. That's another thing I want to talk about. There were a lot of like memes and like when Hürzeler joined of these thumbnails from YouTube videos saying he plays with no midfield. And we're like, we didn't really see that too much. That's what I think we did at the beginning sometimes. There was a few gaps, but against Forest, let's just talk about that lineup. And Hinshelwood playing there on his own is baffling to me. I think Baleba might be able to do it, but not many midfielders even in the Premier League probably can do that on their own against a Forest team that's so well drilled, especially at home. And then I think Mike King posted our average position, and it literally looked like a donut. Where everyone was, there was just a massive hole in the middle, which is probably what a lot of Brighton fans think of Hürzeler at the moment, as a donut. And it's just, I can't believe we actually done that, doing that against a team that are third in the league, again, so well drilled. It wasn't like his hand was, is it turned? No. Tied. His hands weren't tied, He had a decision to make. He didn't have to just have one midfielder there and play 5 forwards. You got Matt O'Reilly and Gomez on the bench. Even if they're just slightly match fit, you can put 1 half O'Reilly, 1 half Gomez or whatever with Hinshelwood, because they both played 45 minutes in the second half. So why did he not do that? It's not like, his hand wasn't forced to do that. Hand wasn't tied to do that. I just found that baffling. And my friend Alfie, before the game when the lineup was announced, he was like, this feels a little bit like Villa away, obviously when we lost 6-1. And he was right. It was even worse though. It was 7-0.
It was worse than Villa, 100%.
It was insane. I just could not wrap my head around it. I think before the game, Hürzeler was saying, we're playing this because we want to win. But my God, it was just the worst time to do it. I understand if you'd done it maybe in a cup game against a lower team, but to do it against Forest was I cannot think or cannot understand what his mind was at.
It's like a tactical naivety, I think.
Yeah,
because
massively, yeah.
when you see his St. Pauli side, and he's done it a few times here, and to be fair to Toby on a couple of episodes ago, he said, teams are smart. They're not just going to get caught out the same time. They'll just readjust and they'll stop that from happening. And I remember against Manchester United, who are messy from front to back, right?
Yeah, that win looks good, but Palace beat them.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're just
anyone will play them off the park at the moment.
But it's more the point of how the goals came about was how we overloaded them. And again, we played that zero midfield and whatever you want to call it. And we overloaded them with a bunch of attackers, and them long balls. They were so effective because they just couldn't deal with it, and they weren't obviously tactically ready for it. They weren't smart enough to deal with it, right? So that was on that day brilliant. But when you're playing against Forest,
but that also was with two midfielders on the pitch, not just one that had started for months.
Yeah. And then Hinch, I feel really sorry for him, to be honest.
Got dragged into the 6-1 against Villa, and now he's been put through that 7-0 as well.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him, I do. But again, then trying to do that to Forest was just tactically completely shooting ourselves in the foot. You could see it. It was so obvious. Every time when the ball was coming across, when Elanga and Gibbs White were on us like anything, you just knew what was going to happen. Chris Wood's not going to miss from 6 yards out. It's not going to happen.
I think he scored like 12 goals against us now, something like that.
And you see where the goals are coming from, and they're always going to overload us. And they didn't even need to try and overload us. They just had to wait, because they knew if we were going to try and either one play through them or put a long ball into them, Murillo's going to be good enough to deal with it. And it's one long ball out to someone who's much quicker than our entire defence. And the fact that it was that easy to do the whole time, and every single goal was almost the same. And what I think is always the most upsetting thing is that we didn't even have to. We didn't look like we even wanted it. It didn't look like it was even difficult. And
when Lamptey gave that penalty away, I don't know if you were saying shambles at the decision. I kind of agree that it was a bit soft. Like, I swear that kind of sort of challenge happens in every single corner kick in every Premier League game.
Yeah, that was soft.
There's always like a little rugby tackle and someone falls over. The fact that was given was bonkers.
Yeah,
Lamptey was just shaking his head going, shambles. And I was thinking, is he saying shambles at how Brighton were playing, or shambles at the referee? But it could mean both. I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I mean, it was a shambles from us and from him, really, because obviously he had a stinker. But is that down to Hürzeler's tactics? Really?
Yeah. I think the good thing is about football is you've always got another game. And the good thing is...
back-to-back against Chelsea.
Yeah. And who else would want to kill us as much as they physically could other than Chelsea, who get 2 goes at it now? I think for me, the biggest thing now is we have to turn up in the Cup, because the Premier League is... If we get anything out of the Prem now, I'd be very surprised. If we get Europe in the Premier League, I'd be very surprised. I still
think a top half finish is doable.
Top half is doable.
One result, luckily we didn't. It wasn't -7 points. It was only -7 goals. But it was only where we just missed out on 3 points. Do you know what I mean? So we could have lost 1-0 and it would have been the same result on the table, really. So I think hopefully it is just a blip with it, but who fucking knows, man?
Yeah. I just think, you have to go for the Cup now and save your season. Because it is, difficult.
But what's going to change in the Cup if we play this donut formation again?
Go for it.
What's going to change?
I don't know.
When we get one of the big boys, we're not going to win the Cup, are we?
No, but it's just about saving your job now and hoping the players turn up and play for you, because as you know, as we've seen with so many other clubs, players will down tools if they don't think it's right, and they'll just let it happen because they'll want new change. I'd like to think our Brighton
squad wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I've
got too many good eggs in that team. That's the whole thing with Barber's arsehole test, that I think they like to call it.
Yeah.
The reason why Kudus might not have come is because he's got a bit of an attitude, and we're kind of seeing it at West Ham now. My boss is a West Ham fan, and he tells me it's so frustrating watching Kudus because he could be a world-class player, but his attitude stinks, and maybe that's why he didn't come. So we've got a team full of a lot of good eggs. So I don't think they would change. They'd change and just down tools because they don't like the manager. I think Man United players would, because we've seen that many occasions in recent years. But we've got a good squad that will hopefully still try for him, even if they don't believe it. Yeah, no, I hope so. I think just for our own sanity, you don't want to finish the season in February. You don't want to have that. But you need to bounce back properly. You need to see a lot. And this is what was frustrating me a lot as... you see João Pedro do this to the fans all the time, and it's really annoying because I don't think the away end could have done much more than what we did that day. And I don't think the fans, as much as our home support can be kind of, I get it when he does it at the Amex.
But even still, like you got to impress to get the noise. You're not just going to start singing when you're doing nothing with the ball.
Odegaard gets a lot of stick for it, doesn't he? Because I think they would win a corner and he would always do that to the Emirates fans, and everyone was going, "Why is he just being a cheerleader?
Yeah,
actually do something.
Yeah, do something, and everyone will start singing.
Yeah.
Like if you start scoring goals and start playing nice football, and I think that's what we've just suffered with, and I think that's why. And I remember saying it. I want to keep the expectations so high, and that's why I still want to keep the expectations so high. And I feel like a lot of people don't keep that expectation high at all because they think, we remember where we came from. And I got a lot of that the other day. Yeah. And it's like, we're not that team anymore. I can't tell you that enough. This Brighton is not the Brighton you think it used to be. This team is really very, very, very good. And the squad of players we have is very, very, very good. This squad is better than Forest, and we just got wiped 7-0 by them. This is a team that could be playing Champions League football next season, but we'll be lucky to, even be in the top half by the end of this season.
But how have the wheels fallen off so much? Because, October, November, we're looking unbelievable. So why? I mean, people are going to say injuries, I get that. And obviously, maybe that is the main thing, but it just seems like the identity of what we were kind of doing well at the beginning of the season has just completely disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know what the identity is, so to speak. What do you think the identity of this
at the beginning when I was getting asked
is
about it, and it was like, it's almost like, how do we used to put it? We were saying it's very similar to Zerbi and Potter, but I think just overloading a lot more players, I think it's kind of the answer we used to just give in like a small little segment way. And that was about it. But now I can't really see that. I don't really see it too much. Obviously against United, but they're piss poor, so you could have played anyway and probably got 3 points at Old Trafford, to be honest. But yeah, I feel like whatever identity is, we're missing massively now. I don't know what has happened. Something has to have happened behind the scenes, surely. Otherwise, why suddenly everything just seems a bit negative? Even off the field, the transfer decisions that we're doing as a club, is the people that we're letting go. It's just bonkers. Evan Ferguson going to a Premier League rival in West Ham, I cannot wrap my head around that at all.
Especially when Ferguson is way more than likely to... Sorry, the West Ham and Ferguson are way more than likely to either, 1, hit the ground running, and 2, finish above us.
Yeah.
Potter's not a bad manager. We know that, right? We can dislike him as much as we want to dislike him. He's a great manager, and I don't think that his Chelsea reign is a representation of how good of a manager he is. We know how good he is. Right, and I think if he's at the right club, whether West Ham's the right club or not, I'm not quite sure.
Well, I think West Ham fans are dying for an identity which they haven't had for a long, long time.
And he'll make a blueprint there, and I think he will do all right. I've got to be honest. And I think I've sort of got over the whole Potter thing at this point, and I hope he helps develop Ferguson for us. To be honest,
true. But if he does, why will ever Ferguson want to come back?
Well, this is the thing. This is what I couldn't. And I'll pose this question to you: if Ferguson, say he's fallen out, it was the rumour with Fabian Hürzeler, why do the 2 managers that want him be Zerbi and Potter, who used to have...
And Xabi Alonso at Leverkusen, right?
Yeah, who said he was a great kid. Everyone said he's a great kid. No one doubted Ferguson's attitude. I've never doubted Ferguson's attitude by any stretch. I think he's a top player, and I think he's a good kid.
For his sake, I hope this West Ham thing does go well for him. I watched a little teaser of him arriving at the stadium. He looks really buzzing. Obviously, he has to be.
Yeah.
Because he's
got a massive opportunity. And West Ham are a huge club.
And
it's
they're
a big club to do
for a striker.
Yeah,
so
they are.
I really do hope he does well. Hope he scores a hat-trick every game, but West Ham lose 4-3 every game.
To be fair, they got Chelsea tonight. This will go up before Chelsea tonight, won't it? So I think maybe.
Well, that's a push. Me is screaming behind the camera.
But we'd love to see him score there. And I think... I hope he does really well. But overall,
hat-trick against Chelsea would be good, wouldn't it? Thanks.
Yeah,
Please do that.
It'd be great fun. But I think if to lift it on a bit more of a positive note, for a start, actually,
good luck with that.
This dogma piece just out now, challenge the establishment.
Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
I do apologise for the name, but I do have a little piece in it, pages 26, 27, if you want to go and have a look. Definitely get on. I'll leave a link in the description for it because, they're top guys. If you've seen any of their work in the city centre, it's so good.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's going to be on the intro as well. There's a new mural of Mitoma, which looks top. We went down there this afternoon. It looked really, really cool.
Where was that? Was that London Road? It was behind that?
London Road next to the car park.
Where the Adingra one was?
Yeah, it's literally gone because someone did something over the Adingra one, so they've repainted it and made it Mitoma, which, to be fair, is probably quite good timing with everything that goes.
Imagine if you went Saudi and they just done that.
Yeah, could you imagine? Can you imagine? In fact, actually, it's a really nice point you just mentioned there, and that is Mitoma's Saudi move, which I think he deserves so much credit for.
Yeah.
so much.
Says so much about him.
Yeah, 95 million. Were they talking about euros? Whether that was pounds, euros, I'm not quite sure what it ever really amounted to. But
and then whatever wages he would have been earning.
Yeah, and bear in mind, he would have got a percentage of transfer fee, agent fees, he'd have got playing fees, he'd have got all sorts, he got bonuses. He could have been a very, very, very rich man. And I think someone said to me about Mitoma, when he was 19, he turned down the opportunity to be a professional footballer, to finish his university thing, which everyone obviously knows about, in case you didn't. But the fact he was 19 and doing that is so admirable. That's an opportunity there where, well, look at Evan Ferguson, for example, the 20-year-old that's now going on loan and people think he's finished.
He's not finished. He's Irish.
Go on. But he was, 19 and now he's 27, and people think, oh well, rejecting that sort of money for a 27-year-old is bonkers. But for me, I think, well, no, I think it's a very, very good move from the club. I think if the season isn't over now, it certainly would have been if we let go of Mitoma.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be an unpopular opinion. Sorry.
Oh, go on.
If it was £90 million or even £80 million, I probably would have taken it. I would have taken that money. The silence is deafening. Do you not? Is there part of you that thought, oh, that could be good? Let's cash in on him now, because maybe...
No, he signed cash in for only like 10 million.
Way nice one. Very good. Yeah, back to back, absolute belters there. No, but I genuinely think, I would have taken it 100%. Even if it's 80 million, I'll say it on record, I would have taken that money, because I feel like we're probably not going to ever get that offer for him ever again. And he's 27. He's probably got a few more years in him. I just feel like it would have been a good opportunity to cash in, and what we could have done with that money would have been amazing.
I think I get what you're saying, but no. I think he's so influential for us, and the majority of our attacks
on and off the pitch, he's influential. Yeah,
he's huge for sort of the brand's reputation, how it's massive it's become in Japan. And I think I saw someone actually go around the streets of Tokyo and just like interview random Japanese people and just say, "Oh, what team do you support?" And so many of them said Brighton.
Yeah,
and we're one of the biggest clubs in Japan, which is absolutely mad. Right, think about that for a second.
Imagine all the Japanese fans having to support Al Nassr.
Right, and I think when you see that one for a start is insane. He deserves, the credit for being who he is in the not just our world, but in Japan, in the world of Japan, to say, and just in general in the football world, is he the all-time Japanese goal scorer now in Premier League history, which is insane. I think Mitoma as a player is still underrated. I still think he is. I think people, because
they judge him on his goals and assists, which obviously he hasn't been doing too much, but it's what he does off the ball.
As a dribbler, I think he's still one of the best in the world. I think he's got the best first touch in the world.
Yeah, in the world.
Yeah, I think I do. Think so.
I'll back him in the Prem.
Yeah. To be fair, I say that I don't watch like Real Madrid every week, so I can't say he's better than Vinicius Junior. But I think he's top.
What, better full stop than Vinicius Junior?
No, I can't say that. I said because I don't watch him all the time.
Oh, I thought you said it. I thought, mate, his first touch is better than Vinicius Junior?
First touch.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant just overall. I was like,
wow. No, not better. Not better.
Maybe I think Yamal's got a decent touch.
Yeah,
what I've seen in the highlights.
I'm sure he's all right. He does play for Barca. But yeah, I think overall Mitoma is. Also, still underrated.
On that, if we did sell him, actually, you kind of changed my mind as well. I'm thinking Football Manager head with the money I could have done that if I was playing Football Manager and I got a bid. I remember I sold Purpose Estepinian to Al Hilal for like 60 odd million on Football Manager last year and done a lot of stuff with that. But yeah, imagine if they did get him, they would have had Mane, Ronaldo, Duran, and Mitoma.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're not doing a 4-2-4. I mean, Hürzeler probably would. He would have 5 up front if he could. But what were they going to do with all of them?
Well, I mean, it's I don't know. It doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yes. It doesn't matter to us, but that just, my mind was going bonkers when I saw
I get what you mean. I think for Mitoma's career's sake as well, he said he always wanted to play Champions League football.
Good luck with that.
If that means he survives this season with us, and this is why I'm so big.
But if he wants to play Champions League football, Ryan, then he's going to want to go.
That's what I'm saying. The summer's going to be big.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so on the idea that this season had to be a success. Because I think if Baleba bid comes in,
which it will,
what can you stop? If Mitoma's bid comes in, can you really stop it? If João Pedro's bid comes in, can you really stop it? These sort of players, they need proof to stay. If you're not in a European competition again, they're not getting any younger. They've seen this season, it's not been very good, and they're not going to want to stay. That's my thinking. We've got a very, very talented team. Jorginho's another one. That could be a big money signing. Yeah. For someone else that wants to sign that sort of hybrid 9.5, 10 player. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. The sort of final one for me, obviously you mentioned cash in as well, but Stefanos Simas if I've said that correctly.
Yeah.
The £22 million
We signed a striker.
We signed a striker.
But he's going back on loan again.
Yeah.
We just loaned out another striker. So we replaced Evan Ferguson with Simas, which is good. But then we've loaned both of them out.
Yeah. And he's 19-year-old goal scorer, looks good. But yeah, again, you don't see him
19-year-old goal scorer for the
time.
Bundesliga 2. And people say the Bundesliga is a farmers' league. So what do people think of the Bundesliga 2?
Well, if that's the case, mate, then what do we all say about Fabian Hürzeler? Because that's where he's come from.
Yeah, well, I think we all know what people say. I think we know what people say about Fabian Hürzeler at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think even that deal, I don't know if you heard about what the ins and outs of that deal. Like, is it Nuremberg paid like the £18 million release clause, so then they could, because he was on loan from PAOK, right, or something like that, and then so they paid the release clause to sign him, and then sold him immediately as well, just so they can make profit on him, which is insane. That's mad business.
Yeah, it's crazy.
PAOK must be livid that they have to put that in the contract. It's probably been fired.
Yeah, no, at least they've made a quick profit, I suppose. I think they only signed it for like 2 million or something like that.
Wow.
Which could be wrong, but I think that's right, to be fair. And then I think, obviously, they've just made a marginal profit, haven't they? They've probably thought someone else is going to come in for him. To be fair, I'm quite surprised. And actually, it's really good business from our point of view, because if we did wait till summer, Liverpool were definitely in for him as well, weren't they?
Okay, that fills me with a little bit more hope.
Yeah, the fact we've got it over the line.
But they did
the
sign
end of the
Darwin
season.
Núñez as well, and we wanted Núñez as well.
Yeah, true. But yeah, we'll see. But he looks a good player. Again, we won't see him yet. So I mean, I've seen a 7-minute compilation on Twitter. So
against Bundesliga 2 players,
very technically gifted by the looks of it. But one of them goal scorers, I mean, that's what we need.
That's what we need in a striker, goal scorer. Yeah, I'd rather have the left back. I think surely we can agree on that.
Yeah, probably
because we do not need any more wingers. We are stockpiling a lot of them really at
We're
the moment.
stockpiling a lot of just attackers in general, aren't we? We've got a lot of forwards now. I don't know if we maybe see a market for it, but yeah, it's I guess a disappointing one from a fan point of view, because you're like, focus on now, we need defenders. Then you're like, well, no, because we can keep making profit and run the club as a business. It's like that torn between, customers and fans, and what are we and what is football.
I'm worried that these young players are now going to look at us and go, at the beginning they were like, Brighton, a great stepping stone to go into a bigger club. But now they're probably looking, because there's been a few years have passed since this has all begun. They might use Buonanotte and Enciso as an example, and saying these guys joined thinking that was going to be a stepping stone, and now they're on loan to Ipswich and Leicester, and then Sarmiento's at Burnley. So it doesn't always work out.
No.
So I think maybe some players might be a little bit. Is Brighton actually the best?
Well, that's
move
actually
now?
quite a nice final piece. Actually, is the 23's a lot of movement. 23 space. I think there will be a lot more by the end of the day. A lot of people going on loan and sold. But I think people almost forget that a lot of these young players that we bought in and now are going on loan and being sold was a long time ago. And you think about how much the club has progressed in the last 2 or 3 years. The quality has probably gone a bit higher. And you've got players like Harry Howell and Freddie Simmons who are like, meant to be really top level players. Wait. Yeah. In the next few years, you could be seeing these guys in the Premier League for sure.
Is Howell 15?
He might have just turned 16 now.
Oh, just turned 16. Okay.
Still very, very young. But if he's doing that sort of thing at that age, it's crazy.
Get him in the team now.
Simmons
we do not need him. Can you play centre back, Harry?
And United obviously getting Toby Collier. So like this new group of players now who are in that sort of sub 20 bracket are probably the ones now that you're going to see that are on the same level as we are now. So I guess when you compare it to the players from before, that development squad has just come over and come on a little bit more. So yeah, the recruitment side of things, probably you'll see a lot of random kids being signed. I think the South Korean boy, Yun.
Do Young?
Yeah, Do Young Yun.
Yeah.
We'll see what it's all about. I mean, again, we're meant to be a really top level player. Massive ceiling. Someone compared him to the next Salah, if you believe The Guardian, I think it was.
The Guardian?
The Guardian wrote that, yeah.
Interesting.
The next Salah.
Next Salah?
Yeah, big claims.
Yeah, that's a big claim.
But we'll see. Plenty of movement. Ben, absolute pleasure to have you down,
man. Thank you.
It's
been a pleasure. Big up the Caxton.
Anything else to add from you?
What's to add? No. I think I never actually said if I was Hürzeler in or out. I'm still Hürzeler in still.
Are you?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because I think, it could just be a blip, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
I hope you're right.
I've always tried to remain positive, but I still think there's life in the young boy, and maybe we will be able to get out of this little rut. Because we started the year so well. So then just to have I guess Everton, that was a pretty poor result, but, Moyes, that was classic Moyes, but that does happen. And then, hopefully, Forest, like I said, is just a blip.
We need to just carry ourselves to the end of the season now and not get any worse.
But Chelsea back-to-back is probably one of the last fixtures that you want to get after a 7-0 thrashing.
You've got to go and win them.
Because there's a lot of motivation for Chelsea players and Brighton players to try and get a result. So, hopefully that will work in our favour. Yeah,
no, absolutely agree. Ben, top man. I'll leave all your links in the description as
go
always.
Follow us up.
And we'll see you very soon. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe and all that good stuff. And we'll see you very, very soon. And goodbye.